It is pouring down rain here. It's a mess.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Same here. Same here. You're all giggly. You got the frothy Java.
Yeah.
Boing, 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 boing.
Yes. This bubble is brought to you by coffee.
So I wonder, let's see, does coffee act differently in different Enneagram personality types?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yes.
Now,
Definitely.
that would be a whole episode all to itself. And today we're just going to like scratch the bare minimum surface because Brittany and I have been talking a lot about Enneagrams in our first 5 or so episodes that we've done. And I'm like, Brittany, we kind of need to do a show that's a little different than the kind of show we do. Because when we go into conversation, it's one step, 10 million steps deeper really fast. This week's not going to be as much of that. We'll try to do a little bit of that when we talk about our own personal Enneagrams, and we'll do that later in the show. But we've talked about this whole Enneagram so many times. I'm like, we have to just educate people about it. By the way, Jimmy Moore, Brittany Davis, One Step Deeper Podcast, onestepdeeperpodcast.com. Go find us over on Instagram, One Step Deeper Podcast, on Facebook, One Step Deeper Podcast Community, which we have 500 people over there now, so it's growing really fast. So, so we're growing, and I'm not sure, but this is scheduled to be the first one out as a brand new episode on the new podcast as well. So lots of great things happening, guys. Happy 2021. We are so glad you are joining us. We are in the Monday slot here in the podcast world, but Brittany and I have been doing something with the previous episodes. YouTube has this cool feature that lets us premiere episodes. And so Brittany and I are going to premiere our brand new episodes, including the one, those of you watching right now, on January the 3rd, on that Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, we'll premiere this. So come chat with us. Brittany and I are in there chatting like crazy, and we would love to have your interaction there as well. But that's all the housekeeping stuff out the way. Let's talk about Enneagram, because you, my friend, are one of the craziest people about Enneagrams I've ever met. I know a couple others that are into Enneagrams, but I'm like, they ain't into it like Brittany is. So why don't you tell us where it came on your radar screen and why you're so infatuated with it?
So I've always loved to learn about myself. I feel like the biggest thing that we've been given in this life to learn about is ourselves. And so many people miss out on so much in life because they don't learn about themselves. So taking personality tests is something that I've done throughout the years, and they're never really super accurate, and they're never really based on anything, and never really had any merit. And so I had a friend of mine. Yes.
I was going to say, what, the ones on Facebook that say, what pop star are you? I'm Justin Bieber. No, I'm Britney Spears. No, those don't, there's nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I mean. You know, I take those, but they didn't really pan out to anything that made a difference in my life. And so several years ago, I had great friends of mine, their sisters, Lindsay and Leland, and they said, oh, we took this. We know you would like this. You take it. You see what you think. And so I took this test, and I was infatuated with learning my Enneagram number. And then it just, as I learned about myself and I learned about the tendencies, and I'm reading all these things, I was like, absolutely, yes, 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 yes. And it's never condemning. It's just giving you raw information and data, which I love because I'm nerdy, of your tendencies and the way you think and process things. And so it helped me see those things, uncover those things. And then everybody around me was like, you got to take the test. You got to take the test so I can understand you and how you work, so I can have a conversation with you, so we can grow together in a relationship. And everything just started to intertwine. And I just kept going deeper and deeper. And it is definitely on my list to take some kind of course to get certified in Enneagram, because it is just so fascinating to me.
How long ago was that, Brittany?
Maybe 2 years.
A couple years. So you've been immersed in for a couple of years. And guys, if you look up Enneagram, which it's Enneagram, go look it up. You can Google it. But there's one specific test that Brittany likes, and I took the test that she recommended, eclecticenergies.com. And it's the first test on there. This is the longer version. Take the longer version. It's about 10 or so pages of about 10 to 12 questions each. But the reason you take the long form is you kind of want to get into the nitty gritty of what makes you tick, so you get a more accurate Enneagram number. So she took hers and got a number, and then you just started deep diving into your number. And then you had me do it probably 6 or 8 months ago. And as soon as I got my number back, she's like, I knew it. I knew exactly what you were, because you've been doing kind of all the research on this. And we definitely want to go over each of the numbers. It's not a lot of them, guys. It's 1 through 9. So, right, 1 through 9? Yes.
Yeah, 9. There's 9.
Great. So we'll go over those here today. And I guess, why don't we do that right now? And then you and I will kind of camp in our own numbers and talk about what those qualities are. So that'll be interesting. And then people can go do their own research. And by all means, guys, go to eclecticenergies.com, take the long form test, and let's see what yours is. Because if you know what your Enneagram number is, then it helps you understand when we go one step deeper on other topics about stop shooting yourself, about how do you handle people you don't really like, all the little topics we talk about. It's going to give you such a deeper, richer experience listening to our podcast.
Absolutely. And not just within yourself, but you can, as you learn yourself, start with you, your Enneagram number, start with that, and then start learning the people around you. And then you know how to interact with them. So it makes those hard situations and other personality types a lot easier for you to manage if you understand why they are the way they are. So Eclectic Energies is where to take the test. And most of the information that I'm giving today, which is a lot, but just scratching the surface, is from Enneagram Institute. So if you want to look more into your number, they have everything from your basic fear, your basic desires, what motivates you in life, the famous people that are like you, who you're best compatible with, all of this, just a long, huge information set of that. So once you get your number, you can go over there. But to go ahead and start scratching the surface of this, there are 9 interconnected personalities, and all of these personalities just kind of describe the way that you behave based on your basic fears and desires. And I guess we're just going to get started on 1, which just so happens to be who I am. By the way, just because there's no difference in scale of good to bad, 1 to 9, they're all equal. Nothing is good, nothing is bad. This is raw data information.
Well, and they can express either good or bad. And we'll talk about some of that as well, that you've got qualities about you and your personality that you could channel to a positive way or channel to a negative way. And you probably know people in your life that channel both ways.
Absolutely. And I actually have a couple of those in here, what it looks like to be your highest self versus what it looks like to be an unhealthy version of this. And just, I'm only going to go over the basics, but you can have a wing, and then you can have all of it. It goes so deep and interconnected. Definitely goes like 10 steps deeper with Enneagram.
Just trying to whet your appetite today, guys, to learn more, because we will reference Enneagram again and again and again in future episodes. So you can't say, gee, what's the Enneagram? Well, episode 6 is going to be your reference point if you need to know what it is.
Yes. So let's go ahead and start with type 1. I am the most versed in type 1 because that is what I am. That is, they are known as the reformer, and their basic fear is of being corrupt or defective. They're hyper perfectionists and everything must be perfect. Their basic desire is to be good and balanced and have integrity. And that is definitely me. Some key motivations, things that motivate them, is they want to be right. Jimmy, don't laugh. They want to improve everything within their life cannot go untouched to be improved.
Which is why you can't take a compliment well. Because if you're complimented, you're like, no, I haven't achieved yet. No, you've achieved a lot. Like, you're really good on the podcast. Like, oh, no, I could be so much better. I still do this and this and this wrong. And da-da-da. No, you do good. You're great. Your people love you. And it like hurts me to hear you like not even like accept a compliment that's legit, because that perfectionism doesn't let you go there.
So the next one of the motivations that I wrote down, because I was like, oh my gosh, Jimmy's going to call me out, is they want to be beyond criticism so that no one condemns them. So they're so hyper perfectionist within themselves that they don't want to give anybody else an inkling, a tiny little bit of anything to be able to condemn them. Does me? Okay.
And I've had some issues in that area. But we worked through it, and I'm now recognizing, like, the more I learn about your Enneagram and why you tick, it's like, oh, okay, well, that explains why when I said like a little something about you could improve if you, and you're like, ah!
Yes, that's telling a type 1 that they can improve in an area is basically stabbing them with a knife. Even if it's truth, even if they do need improvement, they already know that they do, and it just really sucks to have anybody else point it out to them.
And it was good for me to feel the wrath of that back. Not that you were ugly to me, but just I could feel that, oh crap, I shouldn't have said that. But I did it with good intention, so it wasn't like I was trying to harm you in that. In fact, I had to articulate that to you. I'm on your side, Brittany. Like, I am not against you. I'm really trying to make you better. And da, 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 da. And you're like, yeah, I got this, bro.
So a couple of famous people that people know that are type 1s, Confucius, Plato, and I wrote one more somewhere. Oh, Gandhi. There you go. So those are kind of your other type 1s.
Confucius, Plato, and Gandhi. Is there a normal, not godly, super smart person on that list? Is there like Jennifer Aniston or something?
Oh. No, there wasn't. Like, I was looking at this list going, they're going to think I'm super self-righteous, and I'm not trying to be like this on the list.
Plato, Confucius, Gandhi, Brittany Davis.
Oh, yes. Oh gosh. So at our highest self, type 1s, they're wise and they're transcending. Thank you. Hold on.
Transcending.
Thank you. That's the word. Thank you. I'm struggling with words today. They're very real is what I'm trying to get out. They're super real people. They don't hide behind any bullshit, which is me. Like, for a long time, my handle on Instagram was Real Food, Real Life, because everything just had to be real. That is me. They're extremely principled and self-driven kind of people. But on the complete opposite of that, on their unhealthy levels, they can be dogmatic and self-righteous and inflexible, and they condemn others, and they can be hypocritical. So those are some of our words.
I haven't seen a lot of those qualities in you, at least in your interaction with me, and you're pretty real with me, so I would see it if you're doing it. So good job of not expressing the negative.
Yeah, so as you see, if you go to Enneagram Institute, if you scroll down a little bit, it will tell you levels 1, 2, 3. These are like healthy. 4, 5, 6, they're like your mid. 7, 8, 9, those are the worst qualities that a 1 or any other type can show. And so this is just touching on a little bit of that. And ways for, go ahead.
I was going to say, what's the website for the Enneagram Institute? Is it enneagraminstitute.com?
Yes. Yeah. So ways for a thing that I threw in, because I love to I caught myself there. I did. You saw that.
It's guys. She has a bad habit of saying, well, you know me. So she's catching herself. Good job.
I call myself. Okay. I like personal development and growth. And so I always like to look at these informations that's now been presented to me and find the area of growth that I need to